go. We're starting to back off, dog. Skywalking with Wetz. I'm back. Okay. Took a long time off. And I'm gonna explain that a little bit here. So, in August, my wife gave me the awesome news that she was pregnant, and so I believe my last video was in October. And essentially, what's happened since then is, I coach basketball, so I was coaching basketball, and I just really needed to focus my time to my wife, my job, and coaching. And during my free time, I definitely just took a step back just to kind of get calculated for the birth of our little one. And so Maisie Bell Wetzel, born April 10th, 2025. So it seems like just yesterday I made my last video, but it's been about November, December, January, February, March, April. Here we are, May. So about 7-8 months since my last video. But my intention was always to come back. I just needed to kind of buckle down and during my free time just spend that with my wife and just taking time just to relax. And to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot for me to report on in terms of the Phoenix Suns. And so I think that's kind of the big thing I want to talk about here today is kind of the Phoenix Suns and maybe some other stuff as I kind of tune in. But yeah, man, that's kind of what was going on. Birth of a baby girl just about a month ago. And during that time, I really just focused on coaching basketball, my job, and just getting prepared. But we're back. And I feel bad because I don't really feel bad about it, but it's like, damn, I could have been making some videos. I could have been growing some stuff. But at the same time, I feel like that will all come in due time if this is what I really buckle down and do. But for the foreseeable future, I'm going to definitely be dropping some more videos, UFC, NBA, all those kinds of things. Randy, dude, I appreciate you, Randy. You like the goat though, bro? You like the goatee? I'm trying to fill it in a little bit. But yeah, thank you, dude. You're gonna be able to meet your niece here. I think we'll be coming up to Montana in the summer, so we'll definitely make some time to where you can see your little niece. She'll always know her Uncle Randy and the legend of Randy Kiesler, man. Fucking stud, dude. So, but I appreciate you tuning in, brother. I really do. And hey, again, Randy, we could touch base with your shirt and stuff. Let's do something. I could throw your label up on these vids or whatever it may be. But we can do it. Dude, that engine can grow. Hey, that's the only thing. Barely, dude. I'm trying to get the little chops here or whatever, the handlebars here, but we're trying to see what it does. I might shave it off. I might just go babyface Jake for the rest of my life. We'll see here. We'll see, man. But it's been a good 7 months. But again, like when you watch this, you'll be like, yeah. I'd be like, Zach, I'm gonna make a video. But then, like, when the time came and I had the free time to go make a video, I just ended up just kicking it, man. And I think that kind of stuff is important. When you got a full job, like this obviously doesn't pay my bills in any means. I just do this for the fun of it, to be honest. And so if it takes off, I've said this before in all the other videos, like if this takes off, it takes off, and like that's great. I'll take that any day. Obviously I'd take that. That'd be awesome. But I do this just for the fun of it for the most part because I do like getting on here. I have some people that like to watch the vids, and when I post it to YouTube, it's cool to see people, liking the vid and seeing the views go up and all that kind of stuff. It's dope. And it's also cool. I've had some dudes on some past videos, and I wish I should go back and comment that at a guy. I had a video about Bryce Young out of the Panthers and why am I drawing blanks? Out of the Carolina Panthers, the quarterback, and he was like getting at me saying I was dumb and everything, but everything I said in the video was right. And so I like those kinds of things, and that's why I like making the vids. Like, it's cool. But yeah, I'm gonna start rolling some stuff out now. Summertime's right around the corner. I have a lot more free time. But again, I think when it was time to make videos these last 6-7 months, I just was like, I'm just gonna hang out and do those kinds of things because my job. I work Monday through Friday. I coached every single night and played on the weekends, and so the time I did have, it's like I'm gonna hang out with my wife. I'm gonna watch NBA and things like that, but just taking that time for myself. And I think, for everybody out there, I think that kind of stuff's important. Like, I definitely believe in like grinding and like getting stuff done. If you believe in something, you just got to go and get it, like 100%. But for me, I think, at the time, it's just like, I'm just going to kick it, relax, and just kind of get ready for this transition because it's a big transition. And, I got to be fully prepared, and I got to be, not drained when my baby girl comes. But it's been a month. She's been doing great, but we're gonna dig in here. Oh yeah, I appreciate that, Randy, and I think that's like the cool part about it, right? Is like, yeah, I'm not, it's not something that's like big and popping or anything like that, but like the homies and stuff always be asking me like, hey, like when you drop in a new vid, like these things, like that makes me feel good. It makes me feel that like actually people are tapped in to what I'm saying, or even might not even have to agree with my takes, because a lot of stuff I'm doing, it's just my take. Doesn't mean it's true. It's just my take, but they like to get on here and listen to what I have to say. And so I think that's the cool part about it. I'm going to be better about it. Like getting in here, tapping in. I think Facebook's the best place for me right now to, go live on and then post my videos to YouTube, because I think it's just like the platforms and stuff just work a little differently, and I think it's more accessible for me to like reach out to people right now on Facebook. But yeah, I appreciate it, Randy, and I'm definitely gonna keep doing it and keep tapping in. I appreciate you, brother. It's dope. Fuck, I get you on here. We've been talking about it, man. I've been talking with a lot of people about it. A lot of people, I'd be saying I need you to get on, but people don't always be coming on. So we gotta get you on here, brother. I'd like to learn more about your shirts and like that whole brand. It's not even shirts, it's sweatshirts, fucking sweatsuits and shirts and the whole 9 yards. And so I'd like to get you on here at some point, even if it's for 10-15 minutes, just to kind of give us a spiel on what's going on, and I can kind of pick your brain on like the vision behind it. That'd be dope. But yeah, man, I'm primarily getting on here today. I'm talking about my Phoenix Suns. I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns. Not there. Oh yeah, right there, Devin Booker. That was in the playoffs when we made the finals run. First off, but right here, these cats. The Phoenix Suns as a whole, the organization, and it's definitely not been. It was a terrible season. It is. I would say this was a failure of a season. We ended up we won the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and a former championship winning coach in Mike Budenholzer. We won 36 games with a 43% win percentage, almost a 44, but it doesn't matter. We were 32 games behind first place. We were 22-30 in conference, 24-17 at home. So we won a lot at home, but on the road we were 12-29, dude. And in our last 10, in the Suns' last 10, we won one game. And so, I think this is going to be my first video out. It's going to be on the Phoenix Suns. I think it's the biggest thing that I sat back like my whole vibe the whole season is I wanted to make a video all season about the Suns. But we weren't healthy. It just a lot of, inconsistencies and a lot of just an abundance of different variables that, played into the season. Beal would be hurt, and then, KD went down for a little bit, and I think Book even went down for a little bit. Like our rotation was in and out. Nurkic at the beginning of the season just, ended up not doing what we needed him to do. We ended up trading him, and then, we didn't really have a solid big, because Nick Richards, the guy who we brought in that Nurkic deal, it was just all over the place, man. It was a tough season. And, as the season went on, again, I wanted to make videos about it, but at the same time, I was like, let me just see how this thing plays out. Because I see these guys on Twitter, I see these guys online, like these Phoenix Suns fans, and some of the fans out there are terrible, man. Like, first off, some of them I don't even think they know ball, and I'm not saying I know everything about ball. I've been around ball my whole life, but I think when it comes to the NBA and like the different variables that like play a role into an NBA season, it's hard for me to kind of gauge what's really going on. Like, I can see the product on the court, and I can see what the media tries to portray in terms of what KD says or what these people say, and like there's these rumors of this, that, and the other. It's just hard for me to get a gauge on it. But I can tell you what, like the product that I saw on the basketball court was not good at all. It was terrible. And I'm not saying that's like, and people will I'll catch fire for this one, but like I really don't think like that's necessarily Kevin Durant's fault. They say Kevin Durant's not a leader. They say Kevin Durant's this, that, and the other. But when you hear players talk about their experience of like being on a Kevin Durant led team, it's all positive. You know what I mean? But like the media and these people and these sports writers out in Phoenix, like I never know what these guys are. All half of it, we live in an age where everything's clickbait nowadays. You know what I mean? Like you never know. And Devin Booker did everything Devin Booker needed to do this year. I feel like he took a back seat in some ways, tried to facilitate more. But like it was a tough season. Bradley Beal just didn't really seem like he really enjoyed being there. And like, do you really blame the guy? Like, you feel like you're going to get traded at any point in the season, but he's lucky he has that no trade clause. But like, just knowing that a team wants to trade you, and that means they necessarily don't want you there anymore. Like, how do you stay locked in? But like, again, as this whole thing like went on, like I sit here and I watch, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold off. I'm just going to watch this. There's really nothing to praise. And do I really want to get on there and just like bash the Suns? Because that's all I see on Twitter, these phony fans on Twitter who claim they're Suns fans, and they have nothing but negative shit to say about the Suns. And like, as a fan, like I totally get that 100%. But at the same time, like there's accounts now that are directly like they're Suns fan pages essentially. And the Suns players see that stuff all the time. And when you're out there saying things about KD, saying things like that, and the cool thing about KD, and sometimes it's not cool, but I think he gets on there and he checks dudes. He'll check you for saying something out of pocket. And, like when he sees the fan base, Kevin Durant's on it. He's on Twitter all the time. Like when he sees you saying what he wants and all these Suns fans saying what they're saying, like why would KD want to come back? Or does that make KD feel like he's appreciated, or Beal feel like he's appreciated? I feel like Devin Booker's the only guy that everybody has his back. But the reality of the matter is we have 3 max contracts. One of them has a no trade clause, and the way that apron works in the NBA now, it just really restricts your ability to 3 max contracts just in general, but the way the apron works, essentially, from my understanding, just really restricts how you can navigate and go about your NBA season, signing people. You can only, do so many things. And so the Suns, for these last 2 years, their hands have been really tied. So again, I sat back, I watched, and it was sad because, the Phoenix Suns, I went to the finals game. I went to game 4 in Milwaukee. I'm from Montana. I've been a Suns fan my whole life. You know what I mean? And to get to go watch that finals game, I was like, we lost and we ended up eventually losing the finals, but it was like, wow, the Phoenix Suns made the finals. We have this young core. It seems like we have all the variables and all the assets and all the things that we need to consistently be in this finals contention. In the NBA, it's hard to make the finals every single year, but if you have a solid team, and I believe if you keep that team together, you can make a lot of runs at it. And and you shift some pieces here and there in order to make things work. But that Suns team that I went and watched at the finals no longer exists. Mikal Bridges is gone. Cam Johnson is gone. DeAndre Ayton's gone. Chris Paul is gone. All those other fun players, the campaigns and dudes like that, they're all gone. That whole, like, there was a thing we called Suns culture. Before Heat culture, it was like Suns culture. And the other teams have had that thing, but like the Suns culture, they're in there, they're having fun, like they're in the game, they're celebrating, they're beating everyone. We're a top 5 team in the league, you know, and that next year after the finals run, we get bounced by Luka and the Mavs in 7. And, you know, again, you know, an unhealthy Chris Paul, what it appeared to be on TV, a checked out DeAndre Ayton, and just a smoking hot Mavs team. Like that Mavs team didn't miss, I believe, that whole series, dude. That Mavs team exposed a lot. I think they exposed a lot on some things the Suns definitely needed to change in the upcoming offseason. But it's been a mess ever since then, because that next season, you know, we go about halfway through the season, we trade for KD, we trade Mikal, Cam, and a boatload of picks for KD. And at that time, you're like, okay, we got Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant, and we still have some solid role players to kind of plug in here and there. And, you know, Kevin Durant was hurt. He only played 8 games with Devin Booker until the playoffs, and I believe we went 8-0. If I remember right, we went 8-0. We didn't lose when Kevin Durant played in the regular season when he first got traded to the Suns. And then, you know, we lose in the playoffs to the Nuggets in 6 games in the semis, I believe, or the first round, one of the two. But then that upcoming offseason after we got bounced is when everything ultimately changed. We traded Chris Paul, we traded DeAndre Ayton, we traded a lot of freaking picks. In return, we got Yusuf Nurkic. Essentially in return, there's more things to it, but essentially in return, we got, hold on, let me fix this light. There we go. Dude, I like how that's in my glasses. I'm just going to ride with it, whatever. Essentially, we got Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic back for all of that. And Yusuf Nurkic at the time, man, it was like, pretty sure he was close to averaging a double-double, if not averaging a double-double. It was like, and I even said this before we even traded for him, I was like, we could just get a Yusuf Nurkic, because Ayton, you know, that last year in Phoenix especially, just didn't look like he was having fun at all, man. And looked like he didn't want to be there. He's beefing with Monty Williams or whatever it may have been. I was like, let's just get a Nurkic. Let's let Ayton go, you know. And boy, was I wrong, and boy, would I rather have DeAndre Ayton on my basketball team right now. And I say that because DeAndre Ayton, you know, can score, and he can protect the rim and do a lot of other things. And we saw that with him in Portland. Like, he has his good games, he has his bad games, but like when he gets in his rhythm, man, you're like, okay, I can see why that guy was the number 1 pick, and we picked him over Luka at the time. Right now, obviously, I would go Luka any day, even Trae Young or some guys like that. But at the time, I could see why the Suns picked him. But essentially, baby girl is tuned in. Maisie, this is Dad's side job, one of his many side jobs. But yeah, we brought in Bradley Beal and Nurkic. And Nurkic at the time, I was like, hell yeah, that's exactly what we needed. Someone who can just rebound, block some shots, score 10, 12 points a game. You know what I mean? That's all we really needed. And then you bring in Bradley Beal, and you're like, okay, like Bradley Beal definitely helps, and you would think it would be a good situation, but as I've watched it and what I've come to realize is like the 3 superstar thing isn't really feasible when you have 3 stars who are known for scoring. Devin Booker's known for what? Scoring. Kevin Durant's known for what? Scoring. Then you have Bradley Beal. What is he known for? Scoring. And you have 3 top-tier scorers without a true point guard, because now Chris Paul's gone. It's been a miserable 2 seasons. Bradley Beal hasn't been able to stay hurt. I mean, Bradley Beal hasn't been able to stay healthy. Okay? Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, I feel like they've done exactly what they've needed to do. Because Beal isn't healthy, and all that money's allocated to him and not spread out into those role players where we can get shooters, lockdown defenders, those kinds of things. And we had a couple of them, just not enough, right? And a big man. We haven't had those things. Nurkic didn't do nothing for us, man. Like, he's in the NBA for a reason. He's not a bum or anything like that, but he didn't provide us what we needed him to provide. And it's been a miserable season. Again, we had a 36 and 46 record this season, below 10 games below 500. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. No, 10 games below 500. I'm wrong. What would be 500 middle of that? I don't even know, dude. I don't even more. Okay. We're below 500. We lost 10 games more than we won. And when Bradley Beal was not on the court, the Suns went 13 and 3 this year, and I believe that is a 60 game win percentage. That's a 60 game win pace if the Phoenix Suns stay consistent. Not stay consistent. When Bradley Beal, let me restart it. Zach will take it out. The Suns were 13 and 3 when Bradley Beal did not play. Okay, and so what does that tell me as a fan? 13 and 3. I believe somebody, I read something or saw something. That's like a 60 game win percentage, right? Bradley Beal wasn't on the floor. And when Bradley Beal wasn't on the floor, it looked like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were more comfortable. They didn't have to worry about distributing as much. They can go and do their thing. They distribute, they move the ball and all those kinds of things. But when you have that third star there whose main asset is scoring, and you have two other guys out there, the dynamic's weird. The dynamic's off. Dudes are passing up shots that they normally wouldn't. They're not as aggressive as we've seen them before. All three of them. Booker, KD, Beal. Most of the time, Beal was just sitting in the corner. Sometimes that would be KD or Book sitting in the corner. And that's just not, it's just not good. It's not productive. When you look at teams like the Rockets, you look at teams like the Thunder, the Celtics, right? Like, their stars aren't just sitting in the corner all the time, right? Their stars are playmaking. They're doing a bunch of different things, scoring, but then the role players step up. But when you're paying Bradley Beal $50+ million a year, but you're just sitting him in the corner, it's not productive for him. It's not productive for the team, and I can see why dudes check out, because we live in a time where I feel like guys don't really have the humility to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to take this step back and I'm gonna have to do other things, right? But it just looked terrible all year, man. It looked terrible all year. I believe we were the number one team in the NBA or the Western Conference at one point at the beginning of the season, and then we turned out to be, let me look here, we were the number 11 seed out of 15 in the Western Conference. And so it was a bad season, man, and it was really frustrating. So essentially, I'm making this video just to kind of give you my thoughts on what needs to happen going forward and, my hopes for next season. Okay? And so one big thing that happened throughout this NBA year is around the trade deadline, the Phoenix Suns got caught trying to shop Kevin Durant. And supposedly Kevin Durant had no idea about this, and he was kind of caught off guard by it. And there was a trade that would have sent him to the Warriors. We would have got Jimmy Butler or something like that. There was a bunch of different things out there. We may have not even been getting Jimmy Butler. We may have been getting some stuff from the Warriors, right? But then Kevin Durant was kind of caught off guard, and I'm like, why in the hell would we try and shop Kevin Durant? Like, we were trying to shop Beal around. Let me bring it back. We were trying to shop Bradley Beal around. Okay, we were trying to shop him around, see what's going on, because it's obviously not working. Like, I fully believe, and I'm going to say this on record, Bradley Beal is still an elite basketball player in the NBA. He really is. But you got to look at the situation that he's put in Phoenix, right? There's no real point guard. They don't really have a big. And that whole dynamic of him, KD, and Book all kind of sit in that, him and Book are shooting guards, small forward, Kevin Durant, small forward, power forward. Like, and they all, the thing they bring the most is scoring. They're all buckets. They can score at will if they really wanted to. But when you have all three of them sharing the court, how does that work? Right? Who's taking the shot? When do I start to get active and start to get my looks? When can I start just to be ultra aggressive? Right? And I sat back and I watched Devin Booker. His whole career's been in Phoenix. And there's times where he didn't look as aggressive, right? Same with KD. Sometimes he'd go sit in the corner. But the one that really stood out to me was Bradley Beal. It just seemed like he wasn't really comfortable, I guess. Like, I don't know if comfortable is really the word. He just didn't seem like the role that he's been put in is for him, I should say. You know what I mean? So shop him at the deadline. That's fine. But the catch is he has the no trade clause. And so there were some trades lined up, and he shot it down, like one to Chicago. I don't know who was directly involved in that Chicago one. But he wants to go somewhere sunny and nice. He doesn't want to go anywhere cold. From what reports say, you never can really trust what the media says, but that's the deal, right? Like, he wants to go somewhere warm. And the other caveat to it is, do teams want to take on a max contract with a no trade clause? The only other person in the league that has a no trade clause is LeBron James. And LeBron James definitely earns that and deserves that for sure. But Bradley Beal, I mean, you could argue that he deserves it or whatever. Like, if he gets it in his contract, that means he has a good agent. But for the Phoenix Suns, the thing that sucks is you can't just trade him. He needs to okay the trade. He needs to be okay. He needs to be okay with where he's going. And nobody wanted him. We couldn't find a deal. We tried to get Jimmy Butler. We tried. The Heat didn't want to take Bradley Beal. I don't know the inside and outs of it, but that's what it appeared. The Heat didn't want Bradley Beal. And we would have had Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker. And I told people, I was like, yes, Jimmy Butler would be great. He's a better playmaker than Bradley Beal. Is he a better scorer? Maybe not. No. Better defender? Absolutely. Most importantly, a better leader. I think Booker and KD are definitely good leaders, for sure. But it seems like Jimmy Butler's a different kind of leader. You know what I mean? A guy that you're going to walk through the flames through no matter what. He gets the best out of everybody. Not saying Kevin Durant, Devin Booker don't, but look what Jimmy Butler's done everywhere he's gone. Right? He uplifts everybody. Look what he did in Miami. He went to 2 NBA finals, didn't win one, right? He played 2 really good teams, but he got the best out of everybody around him, and he's proven that he's very clutch. So you have those 3 guys on a team, that'd be great. But I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily what the Suns need. Like, we have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. We need a big man, a point guard, and solid role players. Are we going to get all of that in one trade for Bradley Beal? No. But you can ship some stuff off, move some things around, and start to fill the gaps as best as possible with the remaining time we have left in this season. And if we don't make it to the finals, I don't think that would have been a failure, right? If we go to the playoffs, win the first round, win the second round, make it the Western Conference Finals, or lose in the semis or whatever, the Western Conference semis, like whatever. I think that's a successful season. Then we come into the off season that we're currently about to be in. Then we can go back at it again, start moving things around again, not blowing the whole thing up, but filling those gaps to the best of our abilities. But next thing you know, the Phoenix Suns, they try and shop Kevin Durant because they hit the fucking panic button. They hit the dang panic button, man. And Kevin Durant catches wind of this, and what's the situation we're in now? We're not expecting Kevin Durant to be on the Phoenix Suns to start the 2025-2026 season. And I think that's a big fumble if I'm and I am a Suns fan. That's a big fumble for me. That's something hard that I have a hard time dealing with that. We sent everything for this guy, rightfully so. But, like, who did we send? We sent Mikal and Cam Johnson, 2 huge key parts, and a bunch of picks. 2 huge key parts for this guy, because this guy's getting us over the top. Devin Booker is that guy, right? He is that guy. He led us to the finals. Him and CP led us to the finals with the help of Mikal, Cam, Ayton, all those guys, right? But Devin Booker was that guy. He was the guy putting up 40 in the finals games, carrying the team, scoring, doing all that kind of stuff. But you add Kevin Durant to that, and when those 2 are on the court without Bradley Beal, they are 13-3. Those 2 are enough to make it work. But can you fill in the pieces around them to take you over the top? And that's what we needed to do. That's what we need to do. I don't know why trading Kevin Durant's the answer here. We got to do whatever we can. And I'm not saying when we trade Bradley Beal, we don't need another superstar. If I'm correct, and I might not be, but if I'm correct with the apron, you cannot take more money in than you're sending out. So if we're sending out Bradley Beal, we can't take more money than what Bradley Beal makes, but we can take less. Okay, that's fine. What if we trade Bradley Beal for people who we would consider less, right? Talent-wise, contract-wise, salary-wise, but they fill our needs to the best that we can get them filled. You see what I'm saying here? And I don't know why trading Kevin Durant's the damn answer here, and that's where I get a little pissed off about it. I'm like, why do Suns fans, you corny Suns fans, that I sit on Twitter and I watch and I read and I hear these terrible takes. I can't tell if it's just clickbait or you're trolling, or I can't tell if you're just stupid, right? Why do you want to trade Kevin Durant, for one? And for two, why are you talking about Kevin Durant like he's some bum? First off, you know what I mean? And he sees this stuff, and I've seen him clap back at some of you guys, and rightfully so. Put some respect on his name. Look at the situation the guy's put in. Also with Bradley Beal, put some respect on Bradley Beal's name. Look at the situation these guys were put in. They were, in my opinion, and retrospect's a great thing. You can always look back, or perspective, whatever you guys want to call it. It's a great thing. But looking at it, they were in a position to fail, man. Like, that roster, yeah, we have 3 All-Stars, 3 superstars, right? We have an NBA champion in Kevin Durant, right? You could say it could work, but looking at it, those 3 aren't enough. Look at the Celtics. They got 2 superstars. Kristaps, he's a star, right? But look at the role players they have around him. How can this Suns roster, if we somehow did make it to the finals, how can we compete with that? We don't have a big. We don't have a point guard. Celtics got 2 of them. They got Drew Holiday. They got Peyton Pritchard. Oh, and then they got freaking Derek. Hold on here. Derek White. They got Derek White. They got all the role players, man, that just look at the Knicks. The Knicks the same way. They got Cat. They got Jalen Brunson. But look at the role players around them. Josh Hart, right? OG Anunoby. Their bench is deep. Like, we're not deep at all. We are not deep at all, right? And essentially, they're put in a position to fail. Bradley Beal was put in a position to not be Bradley Beal. And I don't blame. I think if he goes elsewhere, he will be just fine wherever he is. I think he'll be fine wherever he is. He's going to be the Bradley Beal of old, man. Can he stay healthy? I don't know. That was another problem. Dude couldn't stay healthy. And people get mad at guys for that. It is frustrating as a fan. I get it. But you can't predict injuries. You can't predict things like that. I think the big thing with the NBA is, like, what is the severity of the injury? Is it just like you're a little sore or a little tight and you're sitting out? Like, nobody ever knows. But, like, health is health, man. Injuries are injuries. Like, we can't really help that. But at the same time, like, Bradley Beal is going to be better off elsewhere. And I think a team will be lucky to get him. But again, I don't understand why we got to trade Kevin Durant, though. People want to trade Kevin Durant and do this whole reset, and I'm like, we're fine with Kevin Durant. We just need to get Beal off our books. We need to get him off our books. We need to go get some people that can plug in elsewhere and provide defense, spot up shooting, playmaking, those kinds of things. That's what we need to get, right? We're going on coach. We're looking for coach. We fired Monty Williams, fired Frank Vogel, and last year we weren't too happy with Frank Vogel. I wasn't either. But looking what we got from Budenholzer, I'm like, oh my God, I would. Why'd we? Like, it is what it is, and coaching, I never know. It's hard for me as a fan to know. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes in the locker room, things like that. But maybe Vogel wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. But then now we just fired. I am fucking batshit crazy, dude. I am fucking batshit crazy, dude. I'm pissed off. Thank you too for tuning in, but I'm fucking pissed off right now. All right. I don't understand. We're going on coach number 4 in 4 years, dog. We're going on coach number 4. How about the owner and the GM kind of look at each other here and be like, oh, maybe we fumbled the bag. You know, like, I don't know. Where's the accountability at? But now we got to trade Kevin Durant? And people are like, oh, we should trade Devin Booker. Y'all are corny, dog. You guys are corny. You're weird. You guys are weird. Why would you ever want... You guys want to go in a full rebuild and sit in misery? We did that for 15 years after Nash. We've already done that. Why do we want to do it again? You guys are corny. Suns fans are corny, man. Like, some of you guys, you're lucky. I got, you know, all the time on Twitter, I got things typed up, and I'm like, nah, I'm not even going to put my energy into that, even though I already kind of did. But some of you guys are so dumb. So dumb. Put some respect on Kevin Durant's name. Put some respect on Bradley Beal, man. Bradley Beal was put in a situation to fail. He was. Now, and I wouldn't even say he fully failed, but he was put in a situation to do something, release the drafts. I should release the drafts, man. But Bradley Beal was put in a situation to fail. Like, he did his best, I should say. He did his best, but he just didn't seem comfortable. Right? So this offseason, we got to let him go. But the Kevin Durant piece, I don't get it. You know, and if we trade Kevin Durant, we better get a stellar deal. We better get a deal that Saul Goodman himself would approve of. You know what I mean? We need to get a deal that is worth it. But you're letting a top 15, top 20 guy walk of all time. Two-time finals MVP, two-time finals winner, regular season MVP. You guys want to hate on that guy. He did everything he possibly could. What was Kevin Durant's stats this year? What Kevin Durant put up? He averaged 26, 6, and 4 with a block. Averaged 26, 6, and 4 and a block a game. You guys want to just let that walk? You want to just let that walk? You guys are crazy, man. I don't blame him for wanting to leave anymore. Like, if he leaves, he leaves, but I just don't understand why that's the answer here. You know what I'm saying? So, Suns, we got to ship Beal. And then I think we just evaluate this Kevin Durant situation. If we can make amends here, dog, we got to keep that guy. He's got to retire in Phoenix. We can't let you want to trade him to the Rockets just so he can come to Phoenix 2-3 times a year and just embarrass us? You want to trade him to the Warriors so he can come to Phoenix 2-3 times a year and embarrass us? No. I don't want to do that. I want that guy on my team. Go find a damn big. Go find a... How about this? How about we go get a point guard? Tyus Jones, he was good. Tyus Jones is a good player. 100%. 100%. Again, was he put in a situation to fail? I think so. I would watch the Suns and I would be like, what are we doing? I don't even understand the offense. Why is Tyus Jones sitting in the corner? Right? Why is it always Tyus Jones brings it up and just passes it off, and then there's a pick and roll going on over there? There's no real, like, really good actions to get Kevin Durant easy looks. Nobody was getting KD easy looks. Book would. Beal would occasionally. But who was getting Book easy looks? All they did was take tough looks all season. No real good ball movement. You watch the 2021 Suns and go watch that, you're going to see beautiful ball movement. But who is running the show? CP. A good point guard. Now, I'm not saying Tyus Jones was, but they didn't allow him in some ways, in my opinion. And then they stopped playing him, and then we brought in Colin Gillespie, and he did great. Colin Gillespie did phenomenal because he was gritty. He played defense. He got steals. And he just brought something that we needed. He brought a little fire that we needed. But I don't know, man. We gotta fix those things. But I'm just making this video just to let you guys know that we can't trade Kevin Durant. We can, but I don't think that's the answer. Right? We got a very small window with Kevin Durant now. We got a nice little window with Devin Booker, but we got to figure it out. And some of you Suns fans are corny, man. You guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you're going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I don't. But I know what you're saying is wrong. That's all I got to say. So yeah, man, that's just it, man. It was just a disappointing season. And is Budenholzer at fault for some of it? Possibly. But I think this is all up top, above the players, above the coach. This is GM. This is owner. And I would say this leans more on the owner, because the moment he got the team, he got us Kevin Durant, which is huge. Like, that was like, oh man, this guy's not playing. I love it. But the Bradley Beal one, man, it just dismantled everything. It dismantled everything. And he has some work to put in to gain some trust from real Suns fans, not you little Gen Zers or whatever you're called. You know what I mean? Some of you guys are weird. Horny fans, man. So, and that's it, man. I guess that's just kind of where I'm going to leave it, dog. So, you know, first video back. This is definitely a Suns video. Obviously, primarily. Took my little break because I was preparing for my baby girl, but, you know, hey, man. More to come. I'm gonna drop some predictions and things like that here in a sec on this second round of the NBA playoffs. But I think primarily I wanted this video. To just let you guys know where I stand with some of you corny Suns fans. Just so you know, I've said that a lot. So let's see here. NBA playoffs have been great. We've already had 2 Game 7s. NBA playoffs have been great. We already have had 2 Game 7s. Thunder rolled the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, I don't know what the hell's going on with those dudes. Thunder's just a good team. Well-owned team, I should say. I'm not... look, Ishbia, look, dude, like, I'm not saying he's a bad owner, but he definitely put us in a jam. And some things were mismanaged in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but it's crazy. And I got all the love and respect for James Jones. Like, he made that team that brought us to the final. So I know, like, he knows exactly what he's doing, but it's just like, I don't know who's calling the shots, who's trying to make these moves and things like that. But it is what it is. So we got Thunder Nuggets, Timberwolves Warriors, Cavaliers Pacers, Knicks Celtics. And so I'm just gonna give you my predictions here. I'm just gonna go with the second round, conference semifinals. Go this second round. So I'm gonna start with this Thunder Nuggets series, man. And I think this is gonna be a really, really interesting series, because the Nuggets are the Nuggets. They got Nikola Jokic. They got the best player in the world right now. And hate me, say what you got to say, but I think Jokic is the best player in the world. And they just won a ring 2 years ago, and most of that core is still there. Imagine that. Then you got this uprising team in the Thunder that are super deep. The Thunder are super deep. They got Shea. Then they got Jalen Williams. Then they got Chet. Then they got Hartenstein. Then they got Caruso. Then they got Dort. Then they got the other Jalen Williams. And then they got all these other guys who be coming in and just they're a solid team. So it's like Thunder are deservedly most deserve of their number one seed in the NBA and in the Western Conference. But it's like, okay, this is the playoffs now. This isn't the regular season. You got to win 4 games against Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and the boys who just won it a couple years ago. You got to beat those guys 4 times. And they just came off of a 7-game series against a really good Clippers team. That Clippers team, and I should have made a dang video, man. Should have made a dang video. I was saying the Clippers could make a deep run. I wouldn't have been surprised if the Clippers could have made the finals. I think they had it. They're a deep team too. They have everything you need. You got 2 Hall of Famers already on that team. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi looked healthy. He was healthy. As healthy as can be, I should say. Like, that Clippers team's no joke. And they got Zubac down there. They're a solid team. I picked them to beat the Nuggets, to be honest, but it was a great series. It was a fun series to watch. And so for this series, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Nuggets, man. I'm gonna go with Jokic. I'm gonna go with Jokic and the boys. They got Westbrook, they got Jamal, they got Aaron Gordon, they got Christian Brown, they got Peyton Watson. They're a deep team as well, and they play good. They play well. They've gone through a lot of crap this last month. They fired their coach, fired their GM. A lot of uncertainties on their future, but I think the team's solid. And to win a 7-game series against the Clippers, I think that's huge. Like, the Thunder get their rest. That plays into their advantage. But at the same time, who on the Thunder, who's going to check Jokic, first off, right? But what's going to be interesting is the Thunder play very good defense. And how's Jamal Murray going to respond to that? What's Russ going to do in his first playoff series home against his former team that drafted him, the team he won an MVP with? So it's going to be really interesting. But, shoot, dude. You know, yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to go with Jokic and the boys. I'm going to pick Nuggets in 6. I'm going to go Nuggets in 6. It's going to be a great series. I'm going to go Nuggets in 6. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Now we got Timberwolves versus the Warriors. And I'm going to say it straight up. I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves are huge. Timberwolves are massive. They got Gobert. They got Randall. They got great defenders. They got Naz Reid. They got McDaniels. They got Alexander Walker. Then they got Ant. Like, they play very good defense as well. I think they caught, like, no one's gonna shut down Steph Curry. People were saying Amen Thompson was gonna shut Curry down and Dylan Brooks and those guys. No, they didn't. They didn't. Nobody's gonna do that to Curry. But it's all the other guy. Like, Jimmy Butler is huge for the squad, but I think it comes down to size. And they were outsized against the Rockets. Steven Adams did a number on them. But I think from a defensive standpoint, in the role players, and I just think Ant's gonna produce just as much, if not more, than Steph Curry, and because Ant's that guy. He's on that trajectory, dude. Just watching Anthony Edwards play is incredible. He's probably my favorite player to watch outside of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. I hope KD doesn't go to the Timberwolves. Anyways, I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves in 5 or 6. I'm gonna go Timberwolves in 5 or 6. Because they just took out the Lakers, Luka, LeBron, those guys. Like, the Lakers and Warriors, I feel like they're kind of in like that similar boat. They're kind of top heavy, and the role players are streaky. And I think the role players on the Timberwolves are consistent. They have the defense, they have the offense, all those kinds of things. Unless Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler have a nuclear series, I don't see the Warriors winning this series. Sorry, Clash. All right. Now we got Cavs-Pacers. Cavaliers and Pacers. Pacers are already up 1-0. They played game 1 last night. And the Pacers are a team, they're deep, they're stacked, and they can play good defense too. So, like, the Pacers, they're a really good team, but the Cavaliers, they may have had the best record in the league, actually. No, I think it was the Thunder. I don't know. Cavaliers are a good team too. They're deep as well. They can play good defense. They got bigs. I think this could be a 6-7 game series for sure. I don't know who to pick in this one, to be honest, because the Cavaliers are loaded, obviously. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, and they got the role players to kind of plug in and do their thing. They did work of the Miami Heat, you know, and I think they just kind of showed that they are legit this year, and they have what it takes to make a run. The Heat, you know, not as good of a team, and that's just the reality of it. Not as good of a team right now. You know, Tyler Hero, Bam, those boys, like, they're a problem, but I think the Cavaliers are definitely a better team, but I'm gonna go with the Cavs. I'm gonna go with the Cavs in 6. I'm gonna go Cavs in 6 or 7. Pacers are solid. They made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but I think the Cavaliers. I think Garland was hurt, and they had a long layoff. They swept the Heat, no problem. So I'm gonna go Cavs. No, they swept the. No, they. Yeah, Cavs had a long layoff. They swept the Heat. Indiana 1-5, but I'm gonna go Cavs in 6 or 7. Cavs in 6 or 7. I think the size. Donovan Mitchell, is this his breakout playoff series to go crazy? But Tyrese Halliburton's a bad boy. Pascal Siakam's a bad boy. Miles Turner's a bad boy. Nemhart's a bad boy. Like, it's going to be a great series. I think it can go either way, but I don't know. Maybe Cavs in 5 or 6. And even though they're down 1-0 right now. Then we got Celtics Knicks. I'm going to make this one quick. I'm going to go Celtics. They have everything. I think the Celtics, without the record the record doesn't show it in terms of, they didn't have the best record in the league, but I think they're the best put together team in the NBA. I'd say Timberwolves are close, Thunder are close, but the Knicks are close too. I really do, but there's something with the Knicks. I feel like they're cursed. Like the Pistons, who are another good defensive team, another great defensive team, and not as many stars, I should say. Pistons took them to 4, and I think the Knicks could have easily lost that series. If that foul was called in game 5 or 4, if that foul was called, I think they would have been playing a game 7 on Saturday. And they barely beat them. They barely beat them in game 6. So, I think I'm going to go Celtics. I think that they're obviously the defending NBA champions. The Knicks are solid. Brunson, Cat, again, Mikal, OG. But I don't think that's going to be enough for the Celtics. I think the Celtics match up very well and are even maybe a little deeper than Knicks. So I'm going to go Celtics in 5. 6 at the very most. No way it's a 7-game series. So, anyways, love you guys. First video back. Kind of sporadic. Out of it, I touched on a lot of things, but it is what it is. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in. YouTube video is going to be up. It'll be more polished, kind of more put together, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, throwing some stuff in the chat. Make sure to like the video, share it if you feel like it. But keep an eye out for my YouTube page, and I'd really appreciate if you go like and subscribe on there. All right, y'all.